Welcome everybody, it's press conference day. We're just 2 days out from what we're certain will be a thrilling rematch between Alexander Usik and Tyson Fьюри. The press conference will get underway shortly. Selected fighters from the undercard, the two heavyweight fights actually, so Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen, Moses Atawa and Dempsey McKee, Mohamed Alakel will be up there too. The principal players, the top of the bill, plus managers, promoters. I think there's the odd trainer in there as well. Joining me, Carl Frampton and Steve Bunce. Good to see you chaps as always. Bunce, you've been here since the start of the week, and it feels to me like we've hit full throttle right from Monday. Is that because this is a rematch and we already have the narrative, we already have the history?
I think it's partly that, Andy, and the other part of it is we've done it so many times now, and they know what works, so you don't need a slow build. They've worked out if you go in kicking and screaming at 100 miles an hour on the first day, you maintain the pace, because there's a hunger for whatever's said on the first day, whatever's said on the second day, whatever's said on the third day. Today we're on day 4, and there's still a hunger for whatever's said, and also the interaction between them. And it's all new, the 5-day weeks, they're all new, and I think they work. So it's partly the fact that these guys don't need to mess around, we can go straight with it, and it's partly because I think the organisers out here have worked out, let's make it spicy, let's make it fast from the start.
And Carl, quickly, Tyson Fьюri's been different this week to how he was in May. No fun and games, a kind of darkness about him.
Yeah, that's what people are saying, and some people are taking that as a good sign. Other people that I've been speaking to, maybe not so sure about that. But I suppose we'll find out on the night what Tyson Fьюri has left, what he's got left in the tank. It was, look, the last fight was a difficult fight for both guys. Both guys were exhausted at the end. But I think one thing Usik is going to remember is how exhausted he was even to win the fight. But Fьюri's definitely coming in with a different attitude this time. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know yet.
We saw some absolutely epic stuff from Team Usik at the open workouts yesterday. The entrance off the boat was the same as Tyson's, but then when he hit the arena, it was absolutely incredible, really, the kind of folk music and the singer who scaled halfway up the stanchion on the right-hand side of the ring. He's kind of really owned being champion this week, I think, Steve. I know it's a well-worn route for him, but particularly he seems to love the crown.
You know, before he fought Fьюri, if you talk to him, he'd say, no. You'd say, you know, you were an unbelievable cruiserweight champion. You were undisputed. You travelled all around the world. Sometimes as an underdog. Sometimes it was hard. No. And you did brilliantly against Dubois, brilliantly against AJ, and he would say, no. Suddenly this week, and I was telling this earlier, Carl, he's changed. He's sitting down and going, yes, you know, I am a good fighter. I'm a great fighter. So he's kind of like he's grown into the role, Andy, like you're suggesting, that he now feels that he is that man. He is the undisputed. I know one crown's gone, but I'm still going to use the expression. He's undisputed. He's on the incredible sequence. He's the man. And perhaps it's almost like he's gone, yeah, but I don't have to play myself down. I'm the geezer.
There's still a humbleness about him, which is really,
he does
really
really
nice.
well, yeah.
So he didn't have himself in the top 5 pound for pound earlier on. Easily in the top 5 pound for pound.
16. He's put himself at 16, hasn't he?
16, something like that. But I mean, the guy. What we don't talk about Usik yet as a great, and we should already be doing that. What he's done as a cruiserweight and what he's done as a heavyweight, in say 22 fights or whatever it is he's had. Incredible, and I think in 10 or 20 years' time, people will be happy to say one of the greatest of all time. I can say it right now, Usik is one of the greatest fighters the world has ever seen.
Do you think that the preparations for Fьюri this time around will have been better? The obvious answer seems to be inevitably yes, because he's not nursing a cut. Last time out, he had the cut 3 months out, caused a postpone, and it ended up being 3 months out. It wasn't ideal. He didn't really make anything of it, so people aren't really talking about it, but that has got to be a factor.
Yeah, it has to be a factor. There's been a little bit made out of it about it this week. I suppose the questions are being asked, was that an issue? But of course it was a factor. He had a horrible cut. He couldn't really spar, probably how he would like to have sparred. He would have had to kind of nurse that the whole way through his camp, but this time he hasn't had to do that. So what we should see is a better Fьюri than the last time because of that, but he's at the age where, is he on the decline? That's another question that needs answered, and we don't know yet.
If a fighter's got a weak eyebrow, if a fighter's got old scar tissue, if a fighter's got a new cut, it doesn't matter what he puts over it, how he protects it, how much new skin he puts over it, how much gorge, how much tape he puts over it before he puts a head guard on.
So apologies, everybody. We just we lost you there for a brief period of time, and you missed some magnificent pearls of wisdom as always. I can't go back over everything that was said, but
I've forgotten them now as well.
But we were talking about the corner, and so much was made of it last time, and people have been suggesting that if he'd won, then people wouldn't really be talking about it all that much, and that's a fair comment as well. I think we'll wait to see what happens on the night. For Team Usik, we're not talking about that nearly as much, which is natural because he won, basically. That's always a good position to be in, and we feel like we know what we'll get from him. We'll get that incremental raising of the temperature. He keeps you working hard all the way through. And if you do get him in a position where you feel like you're on top, and Tyson had him there, wow, you've got to ram it home, because if you don't, he will find a way.
Yeah, he finds a way, but sometimes when we say he finds a way, I think we're selling him short, because we make that sound like he suddenly just overpowers the guy. No, he finds a way with that, it just slowly comes to terms. Now, one thing I think people have maybe forgotten about, and I hope this isn't your next question, Andy, is that not only does Usik find his way, but he learns from the previous opponents, and he'll pick up things. And there was a big debate earlier on. I was sitting with Carl and Darren Fletcher, who does the commentary with us on TNT. And Darren was saying, you know, the big right uppercut that Fьюri throws, that's the punch. And I said, Darren, if you know that, Carl knows that, and I know that, guess who else knows it? Alexander Usik knows it. And so I think that's sometimes forgotten. That he will, obviously, he'll do his normal things. Yeah, steadily increase. But he'll steadily increase with the knowledge of he's got a great idea what's coming back and the danger that poses.
It must be kind of frustrating, sometimes maybe quite amusing for fighters when you're in the build-up to a big fight, and you were there loads of times. You've got the whole world telling you what you need to have learned from the last fight, what you should do better this time, that time. And Abunsi's right, they'll have looked at it, and they'll feel like if there were any mistakes they made that were obvious that could be fixed, then they'll fix them. But at this very highest level, it's always seemed to me, you prepare as best you can, the bell goes, and then what happens is what happens. You just react and do the best you can.
Yeah, I mean, the top fighter, everybody has a game plan, don't they? The top fighters have a couple of game plans, and they're able to adapt to that. A lot of fighters can only fight one way, and they can't adapt, but these two guys are smart enough to be able to change things and figure an opponent out as the fight is progressing. Now, both of them, I think, are equally as good at doing that. Maybe Usyk slightly better than Fьюri, I'm not quite sure, but that's something that it has to be taken into consideration and account. Usyk, in my mind anyway, he's one of the smartest fighters that we've ever seen, and it's been said so many times. Tony Bellew said it the best, that he makes people, he makes you're fighting, you're using your energy all the time, constantly. He's not doing much, but you're
even
just
if you're winning rounds, you're exhausting yourself.
He's pushing you forward and making you work hard without actually, may not seem like you're doing much, but he just puts this constant pressure on. The guy's so smart, so clever, and that's why, in my opinion, he's one of the greatest we've ever seen.
We obsess about weight during heavyweight fights. You know, it's what we do. We peer at a human, and we feel like even though he's got his top on, that we can see if he's 5 pounds heavier or 5 pounds lighter. It's absolute madness, really. But he was quite light by his standards, Tyson, in the first fight. 262, 18 stone, 10.
Something like that.
Something like
8 or 10, yeah.
It's close enough. Do you think he'll be heavier? He's talked about 20 stone. He talked to someone about 21 stone.
Yeah,
that's crazy stuff. But maybe Wilder 2 kind of levels.
Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit heavier. I mean, I'd be amazed if he's 10 pounds heavier. Although saying that, 10 pounds is not really going to harm him. Once you go to 19 and a half, you're starting to, in my opinion, you're starting to push what Lennox Lewis used to call the optimum weight. And of course, Usyk in his however many it is now, 5 or 6 heavyweight fights, he's moved by about 7 or so pounds. Although I've got to tell you, he was fully clothed. He had on big outfits and he had on tracksuits. I have a feeling he might even be a pound or two heavier.
He looks a bit bigger.
Not massive. I don't think he's going to be 238 or anything like that. But 223 or what he was last time. I can see him being just a few pounds heavier, and it wouldn't surprise me at all, Andy. And I can see them both being a bit heavier, but I don't think we're going to sit here in 24 hours and go, wow, can't believe he's 21 stone, can't believe he's 19 stone. I don't think that's going to be the case.
The weight's one thing, Andy, but I think what Tyson needs to do is use it. He didn't use his weight at all the last time. Even though he came in a little bit later, he was still quite a far
38 pounds
heavier than Usyk in the fight. Didn't use it. He moved around as if he was the lighter guy. Now, if he becomes more aggressive in this fight and gets closer to Usyk and pushes him back, that becomes more taxing on Usyk's lungs, but it's also a dangerous move for Tyson to do, but because he's there to be hit then. But I think the key for Tyson to win the fight is he has to be more aggressive. He has to be more aggressive. But there's a risk involved in that because you can walk into something off a master boxer like Usyk. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, that's it. You're rolling the dice, aren't you, whatever you do? And so what about the start of the fight then? Because the first 3 rounds last time, I mean, you could look at that and say that that was the look of a man on Fury's part, of somebody who maybe hadn't quite got his timing because he hadn't been able to spar as much. And he maybe dropped all 3 of those first 3. Some people scored it 2-1, but it wasn't the best of starts. What does he do out of the gate this time?
Well, I think what he has to do out of the gate is what he's been talking about for the last 6 weeks at half a dozen occasions, or 3 or 4 occasions we've seen him, is do basically what he did in the first fight, but just do a little bit more of it. So not be as tentative, not be as cautious, find his eye a little bit quicker. And the whole debate about how aggressive he is, I understand exactly what Carl's saying. Carl's talking about pressure and a bit of aggression and a bit
just
of smarts.
Pushing and putting him on the back foot. Really.
I mean, my thing is just literally arm on his chest, pushing him back and hitting him with something, leaning on him, which is going to drain a man that's 40 pounds lighter. What I don't think we're going to see, and I'd be stunned if we do, is the Fury from the Wilder 2 fight, which some people seem to advocate. That's the easy way to beat Usyk. It's always amazing. I'm always amazed by how easy it is to beat fighters that don't lose. Remember how easy it was to beat Floyd Mayweather? Yeah. Everyone knew how to beat Floyd Mayweather. Everyone knew how to beat the Klitschko's, and all those Americans kept toppling over. Everyone knows how to beat Usyk, but they haven't done it yet. So whenever someone tells me it's really easy to beat him, I want to hear, no, it's really hard to beat him. That's why no one's done it, of course.
I think it has to be something in the middle. He has to be more aggressive, but not gung-ho like the Wilder fight. Not stupid. I mean, if you want to compare the fighters, Wilder to Usyk, Wilder's a bigger puncher than Usyk, but that's it. Nothing else. Usyk's a much better fighter than Wilder is. So
all the way around.
If Fury wants to do that, he needs to be very smart with his aggression and his pressure and going forward, because Usyk's going to nail him if he's gung-ho. He's going to nail him, and we've seen that he can be hurt.
You know what's really interesting, Andy? Generally in a training camp, bits sneak out, just a little bit. Not massive revelations, but sneak out. I'm not sure if everyone's signed NDAs, I don't know, but unless you've heard and I haven't, or you've heard and I haven't heard a single thing from either camp. Not a single thing, good or bad. Absolute blackout silence, which is, I would argue, fairly rare in this day and age. And they haven't opened their camps, but 1 or 2 people have sneaked into their camps. And I'm just amazed that nothing's crept out whatsoever. Which I like, by the way, because I'm not a big fan of rumours, and he said, she said. I leave that to other people. But I'm staggered that there's nothing. I wish I had something on my sleeve I could lean over and whisper it to you. There's nothing.
No, there isn't. You're right. I mean, they've kept very close counsel, and so have the members of the team, because I've not heard a single thing. We know Tyson's been in Malta. That's about it, really. And Usyk's circle is tight. It's been the same for a long time.
Absolutely, and nothing gets out of there.
Nothing gets out of there at all. What intrigues me about this is so many things, but the start does particularly interest me, because as experienced as they are, and as brilliant as they are, and with all the things that they've done, they're still humans, and you want a good start. You want whatever it is that you're going to try and do at the start. It might not be all that dramatic, but if you manage to do what you wanted to do from the beginning of the fight, then that puts you in a good place. Okay, we are ready to go. Here's Michael Buffer.
Promotions and Seller also. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sponsorship is provided by Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Sulman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudi Airlines, New Murabba Development Company, Kawunia, Hunger Station, Lucid Motors, and Al Tanfidi. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, special thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, with respect and regards to the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, and the Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, His Excellency Turkey al-Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest title in all of sports for almost 140 years since John L. Sullivan is heavyweight champion of the world. There's nothing that compares to that. From John L. Sullivan, to Jack Johnson, to the Brown Bomber Joe Louis, to Rocky Marciano, to Floyd Patterson, Ingemar Johansson, the list goes on and on. To Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, the Klitschko's, Larry Holmes. They're all recognized forever in history for being called the undisputed world heavyweight champion. In about 50 hours, will it be revenge or will it be repeat? Ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing on Saturday night here in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for the heavyweight championship of the world. Let's meet the two warriors at this time. Coming first to the stage, his record stands at 34 victories, 24 big wins by knockout, only one defeat. He's looking for revenge with one draw. He is the heavyweight pride of the United Kingdom, the former lineal and two-time heavyweight champion of the world, the Gypsy King, Taison stands at 22 fights, 22 victories, 14 wins by knockout. He's an Olympic gold medal champion and the heavyweight pride of Ukraine. He's the former undisputed and undefeated cruiserweight world champion and now the reigning, defending, undefeated, universally recognized heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander
Well, thank you, Michael Buffer. Wow, I'll get those big fight feels when Michael Buffer is in town. Let's get a round of applause, please, for Michael Buffer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these two gentlemen met in a ring of fire back in May. And on Saturday night, that ring of fire is reignited. I want to start off by hearing from Taison Fьюри, the challenger this time. Taison, we've spoken a few times this week. I've watched some of your interviews, and you've said it's not about redemption, it's not about revenge, it's not even about regaining those titles. So I just want to know, what is it all about for Tyson Fьюри on Saturday night?
I'm going to dish out a whole lot of pain. I'm going to put this fucker in the hair locker for sure.
Tyson, there seems to be an edge about you this week. What's happened? There seems to be an extra menace about you. Menace.
I've got nothing to say, apart from there's going to be a whole lot of hurt and pain in this fight. You watch. That's all I got to say. Talking's been done. You know, the first fight, I talked.
Thank you, Tyson. Let's get an opening word from the defending champion, Alexandra Usika. And we've heard what it's all about for Tyson Fьюри. It's about causing pain, causing hurt. What is it all about for Alexandra Usika on Saturday night?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends.
Зараз це тільки розмови, все буде 21 грудня в рингу. Зараз шоу, камери, 21 грудня буде все серйозно.
Now we have just a performance, talks, cameras, live, kind of show. Everything gonna be taking place on Saturday night, on the 21st.
Thank you, Alexandra. I'll be looking to come back to you shortly as well. Let's bring in Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, what a time this is right now. The relationship between Riyadh season and boxing. Give us your thoughts on that, and also you're very much backing your man sat next to you to get revenge.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Riyadh. Thank you, Riyadh season. His Excellency, all the teams that have worked to make this such a successful promotion, and the previous such a Riyadh season. You know, it is some event now. These fights get better and better. In the course of this, get better and better. What is it now? We're now in the the boxing centre of the world now. This is where all the big fights happen, and the biggest fight is happening on Saturday night, the rematch. The first fight was magnificent. It was a great fight, had everything. Very close fight. It was a cigarette paper in the decision. This time round, I know these guys have been in the ring. They shared the ring. Have been in together for 12 rounds and weaknesses, and it's going to be about who can exploit the weaknesses, about who can exploit the strengths. And I believe Tyson Fьюri will come through this, and I don't think this fight will go the distance. He's in a great shape, great frame of mind for this fight, fighting mode. We're going to get an extra special event. Do not blink after the first bell.
Thank you very much, Frank. Well, as you can see, we've got a brilliant card as well. We've got fighters at various stages of their career. There is a young man sat on the end there of their career. There is Muhammad, who's representing Riyadh, a real point to grassroots boxing coming through in this country. And this is fight number 2 for you, Muhammad. You did your country proud last time out on your debut on the Besbiev Bivol show. How much are you looking forward to doing it all again?
Thank you. Yeah, I've learned a lot in my debut, and I can't wait to showcase my skills this Saturday. I would like to thank His Excellency for giving me this opportunity and Gold Star.
And you got a tremendous ovation last time. You expecting the same as well in there?
Hopefully, inshallah.
Best of luck to you, Muhammad. Let's move to a fantastic heavyweight fight. Two of the most popular British heavyweights in most recent years, Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen, 10 rounds for the vacant WBA International Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to start with Dave Allen here. I can see a lovely haircut. I can see a bit of a jawline. You look ready to go. Talk to us.
Hello, everyone. Just want to start by saying a big thank you to His Excellency and Riyadh season. This is a dream come true for myself. On a personal note, yeah, I've got into career best shape. I was given a fantastic opportunity, and it's one I plan to take with both hands.
And also, I've heard you say that your man Johnny Fisher over there, he might be a bit nervous. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I think so. He should be. I am. We both should be. It's a huge occasion. It's a huge fight. Johnny Fisher, you know, someone asked me last night, like, you're good friends. Like, I've got a son. If he grows up to be half the man Johnny Fisher is, I'd be a happy man. This is not personal. This is sport. But I'm very confident I will do the job. Very, very confident. And, you know, that's not really my character, but I've worked really hard. And I genuinely believe this is my time to finally fulfill my potential.
One more for you, Dave. You've sparred both Tyson Fьюри and Alexander Usik. I am curious. What do you think is going to happen in the main event?
That's an interesting question while I'm sat on this side of the on this table. The two best heavyweights of my generation, I've shared a ring with both many times. I'm a huge fan of both. You know, everyone knows the regard I hold them both in. I personally foresee a Fьюри win, but these two are the greatest heavyweights of my time, and I'm so fortunate to be here to witness it in person, and hopefully it can be half as good as last time.
Nice words, and I like that you picked Fьюri despite being on the Usyk side of the table. Fair play to you, Dave Allen. Let's bring in Johnny Fisher. Dave Allen sounds ready to go. Dave Allen is very, very confident of upsetting you on Saturday night. What's going on in your head, Johnny?
First of all, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to the people of Saudi Arabia and His Excellency for the hospitality that I've received while we're here and my whole team. And yeah, I would expect nothing less from Dave Allen, the White Rhino, to be ready to go. That's what we're trained for. He's had 12 weeks, I've had 12 weeks, but I've been training for more than that. I've been training for 4 long years. And now this is my time to show people what I can do.
So tell me this, Johnny. What happens when you put a rhino and a bull together?
There's a possibility for some carnage, that's for sure. And yeah, a rhinoceros and a bull in the same ring. There's going to be fireworks, and I'm not going to take a backward step. I'm sure he won't. And I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it to make everyone proud who comes and supports me, the people that are travelling over, but also the people that will be watching at home. I'm doing it for all of you, and you give me strength every time I fight.
And are we expecting a big knockout, a big bosh on Saturday night?
There will always be a bosh, of course, but winning is all that matters. Victory at all costs, and it's an honour to be on such a big card, but I'm aware of what my job is. My job is to beat Dave Allen, whether that's in Saudi Arabia or somewhere back in England or anywhere around the world. I just happens to be on the biggest stage, on the biggest platform, but my job remains the same. Win.
Just a quick one. Have you got a message for Dave Allen down the other end of the table?
Nothing. As he said, he's a good friend. But there's no friends in that boxing ring on Saturday night. We're going to be trading leather, and I'm sure I'll shake his hand before and I'll shake his hand after. But for now, when we're in that ring, we're enemies.
Thank you, Johnny. Let me bring in Eddie Hearn at this point, chairman of Matchroom Sport, sat next to Johnny Fisher a couple of seats down. A couple of things here for you, Eddie. Talk to me a little bit about this fight. And also, I've been watching your interviews. It sounds like you're also the chairman of the Tyson Fьюri fan club these days. You're backing Tyson to do it.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. Just to echo the words of Frank Warren as well, I think this has been the most incredible year. You know, they say if you love what you do, you'll never have to work another day in your life. And this has been definitely my most enjoyable year in boxing so far. And I don't think myself or Frank or Spencer would have worked the way we have without the passion of His Excellency, because no one is getting myself and Frank Warren up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do a Zoom in our pyjamas like His Excellency. And we do that because we share his passion for the sport. We like money. We all like money. And these fighters deserve as much money as possible. But we feel his energy, we feel his passion for the sport of boxing, and we embrace it. I think it's also important to say the change that we see in Riyadh and the country of Saudi Arabia. We first came here in 2019 for boxing. I think the country is unrecognisable since we came then. And not just through boxing, but the spirit and the energy and the positivity that the younger generation have, and the feeling among the people, is something that I'm quite jealous of, being from Britain. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I feel full of spirit every time I step foot in this country. And of course, what they're doing for boxing, as Frank said, is become the central hub for boxing. In an era where Las Vegas and London and New York took that title, now the eyes of the sporting world will be on Riyadh on Saturday night. So, of course, on this fight, Dev, Johnny Fisher is someone that's very important to us. And Dave Allen is someone we're very fond of. Two incredible heavyweights who should be nervous because this is a platform that they've never been on before, the biggest stage of all. And regarding the main event, as I said to my friend Alex Krasik earlier, I've got a lot of history with Alexander Usik, but I am backing Tyson Fьюри, of course. He's the Brit. I've become fond of this gentleman next to me as well, Spencer Brown and the team. And I said before, I said, you're not like, I mean, because he's a good guy. You've got to be kinder to him. He's been your friend for a long time. If you heard the nicknames, and you as well, yeah? So you're going to be nice, and you're definitely not on the fence for this fight. Turki Al-Sheikh is backing Tyson Fьюри to do the business on Saturday night. The one thing I'll say, people ask me all the time, who's going to win this fight? I'll finish now, Dev. I said this, Alexander Usik is an incredible fighter, and it will take something extraordinary to beat him on Saturday night. But I know we've had our differences. Tyson Fьюri is capable of extraordinary things. I think his victory against Vladimir Klitschko in Germany, I watched that in a hotel on a laptop in America. I thought he had absolutely no chance. He won every single round. When he fought Deontay Wilder in America, I thought he had absolutely no chance. He was robbed in the first fight. He smashed him to pieces in the second fight. Two generational great heavyweights, two credits to the sport. May God bless you both on Saturday night, but most of all, I can't believe I'm saying it, may Tyson Fьюri be victorious on Saturday night for Britain and get this championship back.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Alexander Usik here stared at you for most of that, so fair play holding your nerve there. Let's move things along. A brilliant heavyweight fight. It's the co-main event on Saturday night. There is a young man here who many believe that when these fellas retire, when Fьюri and Usik are gone and this current crop are gone, this man will be the one to carry the torch forward and be the heavyweight moving forward. 19 years old, Moses Itauma. But he's in tough, he's in deep. Dempsey McKean is by far the biggest test of his career. And we'll start with Dempsey McKean here. This is 10 rounds, by the way, for the WBO Intercontinental and vacant WBA International Heavyweight Championships. Dempsey McKean, now, you've just heard it from me. You've probably heard it all week. All the talks about Moses and what Moses can do and what he's going to go on to achieve. But you are a 6'6" Australian tower, and you've got your own plans, right?
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, I'd like to thank His Excellency and the beautiful Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting us, giving us a platform to be able to come here and fight and showcase it all. But yeah, it's all the Moses show at the moment, isn't it? But you know what, I don't mind. I'm kind of used to being the underdog a bit, especially with the Filip Hrgović fight. And, you know, I've had a really good training camp. My sparring's been good. Everything's been on point. And I'm ready to disrupt the Moses show come Saturday.
OK, thank you very much, Dempsey. Let's bring in Moses Itauma. You've just heard from the man who is looking to disrupt the Moses Itauma show on Saturday night. What are you thinking?
It didn't sound believable, I can't lie. But I want to start off by saying thank you very much, Turki Al-Sheikh, for giving me this opportunity to fight on shows like this. Like, listen, I'm just a teenager from Chatham. Like, it's mad that I'm underneath bright lights. I'm on the same table as Tyson Fьюri, Frank Warren, I mean, Eddie Hearn, Spencer, Alexander Usik. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm going to take it with both hands. And I'm living this up as much as I can. It's funny though, like, I'm 19-year-old, only turned professional last year. Dempsey McKean's has double amounts of fights, and yet he's the underdog. Listen, I'm not looking past Dempsey. For me, this is like my world title fight.
Thank you very much, Moses Itauma. A brilliant fight on Saturday night, Itauma against Dempsey McKean. Let's start talking again about the main event. Let's get a trainer's eye from Serge Lapin, part of the Usik coaching team. And Serge, you've got 12 rounds of data now as a team. What's going to happen on Saturday? Have you had to change much? Give us your thoughts.
Добрый вечер всем. Добрый вечер. Салам алейкум.
Good evening, everyone.
В субботу вечером будет противостояние двух боксеров. И один докажет еще раз другому, что такое настоящий бокс, что такое техника. И
ladies and gentlemen, so this upcoming Saturday night, we're going to have the battle of two great champions, where one of current champion will prove to the other one that he is the stronger man, and he will perform what real techniques is, what real tactics is.
Усик чемпион, и суббота вечер это все покажет.
Усik is the champion, and you'll see that on Saturday night.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Serge Lapin. Let's bring in